men, and I use the term ever so loosely. I've missed a video. The next few videos might be coming out kind of irregularly. I've got a lot of work in the shop to do. I had some catching up on stuff around the house I had to do, but I'm going to try to get one knocked out for you here today. We're going to talk about wiring, motorcycles, and things like that. But it's going to start out with my old buddy, the Harbor Freight press. This thing works reasonably well for what it is. I'm going to use it to break some wire, I hope. But I got to get it configured for that. You see a lot of videos on YouTube about guys doing all kinds of things with these presses to improve them, blah, blah, blah. And that's all fine. For the most part, this works pretty good. The only thing that bugs me is this. Take a look at the base down here where the legs are attached to those angles. It racks back and forth. No matter how tight you tighten those nuts and bolts down there, you know, you got so much leverage acting on them that, you know, they're going to move unless you had a close tolerance bolt in a reamed hole. There's no avoiding that. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is weld that up today. The second thing I might do, which I haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to do it for sure, is I might want to put leveling feet in the corners of those angles. I haven't decided whether I want to do that or not for sure. And I've got to do a little modification on this here so that I could use it to pull instead of push, and thereby break some wires and some wiring connectors with it. But anyway, let's get this laid over, take the legs off, clean them up where I'm going to weld them, and weld them on there. That one wasn't even tight. Neither was that one. One of the things I really like about these uni bits is, you know, there's a little chamfer when it goes from one size to the next size. And you could use that chamfer to quickly deburr the hole. Works great. Alright, I decided to go ahead and weld some feet on there. Carriage bolts. They got the square under the head, so I could use the square to get a wrench on them to adjust them. Got a nut to weld on the bottom of the legs to turn the carriage bolt in and out. Got a nut to put on the top to jam it to lock it down. Anyway, these will be legs shortly. Alright, so there we go. Got the legs welded to the uprights, got the adjusters in the corners. When I shove this back in the hole where it goes, I'll be able to adjust the level on it. And for the first time since I got this thing, I don't know, 15 years ago, it'll be square, solid, and level. Can't wait. Okay, this is the table. Normally it sits on these pins, which is great for when you're pushing, but not so great when you're pulling. So to lock it in position while it's pulling, I'm going to drill a hole, actually 4 holes in each end, so that the pins will go through this piece instead of having this piece sitting on top. That way it won't be able to lift up when I pull on it. Alright, I got the holes lined up here and here, or marked out here and here. The pins that go through there are just a little bigger than 3/4. I'm going to make these holes 1 inch, which is just a little bigger than the holes on the press, so that'll give me some fudge factor. I set the drill press table to the same height as the workbench, otherwise I'd have 2 feet of this thing hanging over and I'd never be able to keep it straight or level. And if this works out right, I'm going to have just enough room to drill a pilot hole with a normal size drill bit. And then go back through with the long drill bit to catch the bottom. That way I don't have to lay out the dimensions twice. And I've got even more fudge factor to work with, since I'm going to make these holes a little bigger than they need to be. Okay, first test. The holes line up with each other. That passes. And let's see if the holes line up on the press. One lines up. Two lines up. I guess that's good to go. Alright, I was going to use this pulley hanging from the top crossbar on the press to run the wire through, but I decided what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make a little thin round pulley to put between the plates on the top crossbar instead of this pulley. It'll be a better deal. The first thing I'm going to do is make the bushing for the center of the pulley. I was looking for little ball bearings, but I didn't have any laying around in my piles of shit. So this is an old valve guide. It's bronze. It should work out pretty good. I'm just squaring up the end because there was a little chamfer there. And we're just going to run a pass over the outside to clean the schmutz up off of it. We'll call that good. I'm 1 fractional size smaller than 3/8. Taking it out to 3/8 with a chucking reamer. Okay, the pulley is going to be about 5/16 of an inch wide, and that should give me about 20 thou clearance on each side. So let's part it off. Bingo. Alright, this is what I'm going to make the pulley out of. I'm going to center drill it. The bushing I made is 0.560 outside diameter, so we're going to make a hole in here about 0.555 and put a groove in it, and then of course I have to part it off. Parting it off is going to be problematic because the pieces, I got to plunge in this deep to get it parted off. I don't know how well that's going to work, but we'll see. That's plenty. Alright, we're just going to face off this end, and I'm going to power feed it. Good enough for this work. Alright, I got to take out about 45 thou off of this hole to get it where it needs to be for this bushing. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, got about another 7 or 8 thou to go. Not that it was really necessary on this job, but I was hand feeding the boring bar to the bottom of the hole. When I get to the bottom of the hole, I stop the lathe and I would engage the power feed to take it out of the hole. you know, on the spring path, just because that gave it a better finish. Like I say, I really didn't need to, but just as a matter of improving my technique a little bit. Should be very close. I was aiming to take 6 off with that pass. Okay, measures out to about 0.557. Should be just about perfect, so we'll leave it there. Let's make the groove in it. Actually, before I make the groove, I'm just going to clean up the outside edge of this a little bit. That looks good. Now for the groove. Yeah, I know it's stupid, but I wasn't satisfied with the groove, so I decided to, well, I had some old high-speed steel tool blanks around, and I kind of ground a half-ass form tool to make the groove. Let's see how this works out. Hey, yay, yay. Oh, that's horrible. Jesus. Well, I guess I should have expected that. Huh. Well, here's the great experiment. Whether I could part off that much material. We'll see. Not sounding good. Let's sharpen this up a little bit and put some juice on it. That was rough. Alright, let's do a test fit. Make sure the pulley fits in between the channels up here. It does. As long as I got the press out, let's press the bushing into the pulley. Much better. Much better. Okay, here's last look at the pulley. A bigger pain in the ass than I thought it was going to be. The parting operation was a pain in the ass. But anyway, here's the pulley. It came out pretty nice. It'll work for what it needs to work for. Alright, let's get this little bastard installed. Perfect. Alright, the next thing I got to do is mark where the wire is going to drop. Pulley's in here. Square is up against the edge of the pulley. So the wire is going to drop straight down here. Square is up against the edge of the pulley. So that wire is going to come up from here. So we're going to go up, loop around, and then down. Alright, the end is in sight. The last thing I'm going to do to this press is mark a point down here where the wire is going to drop down to, and I'm going to drill a hole in this cross beam to put a pin in or something, so I got something to anchor my wire on. So we'll just mark this thing and put a hole in the middle here somewhere. Okay, last couple of holes. Alright, here we are. This is the first time in the 15 plus years that I've owned this thing where it's flat and square and solid on the floor. It doesn't rack when you push and you pull on it. Can't wait to try it out. We're going to be testing some electrical connectors, crimp-on connectors, and I've got the test set up over here. And we're going to do just one, just to see whether it performs as expected. We're just going to break one right now and see what happens. Well, that didn't take much. Let's see what happened. 45 pounds. Okay, the crimp pulled off and it's in oblivion somewhere. But 45 pounds and it pulled the crimp off. Good, so the setup works. We're going to get into testing some different crimps with different crimpers and see how they work out. But those experiments, you're going to have to wait till next week to see, unless you're a Patreon. I got the video done, it'll go up, but it will only be visible to Patreon members until a week from today. So we'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Get yourself a coffee cup, get yourself a sticker, join me on Patreon. We'll see you later, and I am out of here.